Minutes early. I just figure Patty is going to be here momentarily, and we'll get started. I'm going to speak with Patti Zappa from One Warm Coat. I'm just trying to get to my... Here she is. Oops, there we go. Hi, Patty. We're live. I just put us live, so we're live. I'm Carolyn from Mommy Ramblings, and this is Patti Zappa, the Executive Vice President from One Warm Coat. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Do you want to
Thanks
tell...
for having me.
What? I'm sorry?
I said thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and the mission of One Warm Coat so that we
Sure.
can understand that?
Yeah, so One Warm Coat is a national nonprofit organization. We are cloud-based, so we all work remotely across the country, and we started in 1992 in San Francisco, but have since become a national organization.
Sorry, I'm sorry there was an echo. I'm sorry. It's okay, I fixed it.
So we are a national nonprofit, and our mission is to provide free coats to anyone in need while promoting volunteerism and also environmental sustainability.
Okay, so these coats, they're for adults and children, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so how do you go about getting, how does this work? Your donations and your coat drives, how do they work?
So our biggest program is our coat drive program. And the way that our coat drive program works is each year we enable about 4,000 volunteers across the country to hold a coat drive in their community. So we provide an easy registration process and then walk people through the process of holding a coat drive. We give them ideas for when to do it, how long, flyers, promotional materials. So we walk you through the steps to hold a coat drive. Once people's coat drive is complete, we then provide a map of about 1,500 nonprofit partners across the U.S. who partner with One Warm Coat. So we vet them, and in that process, we guarantee that they're a nonprofit or a school in good standing with the IRS, and they have guaranteed that they're going to give the coats away for free and without discrimination. So those coats go directly from the volunteer who collected them, and then we pair them with a nonprofit in their community. So they stay they stay local, they stay where they were collected,
Okay.
and they can go to one of the nonprofit partners. And we have a number of partners, in each state, in communities across the country. If you can't find one nearby, you can also take it to another nonprofit, maybe someone that you work with regularly. We would then love for that organization to join with us, but they also don't have to. So the coats stay local and they go directly to children and adults in need. The really nice thing about the way our program works is we're not duplicating efforts. So One Warm Coat doesn't touch the coats. They go right from the volunteer to the nonprofit, and it really helps the organizations that we work with because it fulfills the need. These organizations are providing a lot of different services. Sometimes it's schools, it might be a homeless shelter, a food kitchen, a domestic violence shelter. So they have to put their funding towards other aspects of their mission. And what One Warm Coat is able to do is we can provide coats to them, and then they're not having to put budget towards that.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand this. Okay, so say if I don't know if Catholic Charities is a nonprofit that works with it, but let's say they did. So say someone organized a coat drive, at a school, and then if Catholic Charities or a charity like that was working with you, then they would help distribute the coats?
The coats go directly to the Catholic Charities in that example, and then Catholic Charities distributes them to the people that they're working with.
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand, I must be missing something, because if I'm organizing a coat drive, so what are you helping with? You've got to be, what is it that you're helping us with? Maybe I'm a little dense today. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Tell me what you're helping us with.
So One Warm Coat really walks step by step how to hold a coat drive and then where to drop off the coats. So in a lot of communities, maybe someone doesn't know, I'd like to do something, but really, how do I get involved? How do I get my children involved? So what One Warm Coat does is we say, here's the steps to holding a coat drive. The first thing you want to do is plan it. So pick a date. You want to use our materials to publicize your coat drive. So we offer flyers, social media. We also have a web page where you can set a goal and say, I want to collect 100 coats.
Okay.
And then you can track that throughout. Yeah, and
okay,
then
now it makes sense to me. Yeah, I was trying to. Okay, so you'll promote it on social media. You'll give them materials for flyers and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. And then we also, just giving those, tips throughout for here's what you should be doing next. And then when it's over, we go through. You want to sort your coats. You want to make sure that they're clean and wearable, because sometimes people do donate coats that aren't wearable. So if they're not, we have some resources where we can teach you how to take them to a textile recycling, so that you're not just throwing them in the trash. We're keeping them out of landfills, but you can sort them by size, sort them by type. Are they men's, women's, children's? And then we say, and now here's a map, put in your zip code, and here are our partners that are near you that really need the coats. So you can take it to them, and you know that not only did you collect coats, you also are distributing them directly in your community by giving them to a nonprofit partner nearby.
Okay, now I understand. All right, so how does someone, what's their first step if they say, oh great, if someone listening is saying, I'd like to do this in my community, what's the first step?
So the first step is really to check out our website, which is onewarmcoat.org. So we talk through the 3-step process there of holding a coat drive, which is really pretty simple. And really the nice thing about our program is it can fit any schedule. So do you want to hold a coat drive this weekend? Do you want to hold a coat drive for the whole month of November? We can really make it work for anyone and give you tips along the way of how to make it successful. We have a lot of different types of people and companies and organizations that work with us to hold coat drives. So we have preschools that have held coat drives and have really loved it as an opportunity, not just to teach philanthropy to young children and introduce the concept of giving back really early, but also, we've had them talk about how it helps with counting. They're sorting the coats and then they're able to count them. So it can really apply to 3-year-olds. And then we also have big retailers that we work with every year that hold coat drives in their stores. So we work with a ton of scouts, a ton of schools, PTOs, different teams will join with us to hold coat drives. So we're helping people, meet their philanthropy goals and also really introducing children to a great way to give back. That's an easy thing. People can go through their closets, they can pull coats, drop it off. It's such an easy way to give back.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been involved with coat drives. I've been in the PTA, so we've had drives like that. I was just trying to see what was different. So you're guiding them, you're being a resource to them, you're advertising it, and then setting them up with the nonprofits that will accept the coats.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a piece that is really helpful because not every nonprofit wants coats. They might be serving a population and maybe they're providing food, but they don't have the capacity to have coats. So I think that's a great resource that we offer because we can say, here are your neighbors that are requesting them in your area, and really cut out people having to do the research for themselves.
Right. And are you just in the United States? Are you in Canada?
We're primarily in the U.S. We are a U.S. organization, but we do a little bit of work also in Canada. So we have a number of nonprofit partners there. I think probably about 40 in all of Canada. So we're not doing a ton in Canada, but we do have people that join us there and hold coat drives, which is wonderful.
Okay. All right. And is there any, do you set the parameter? What if somebody wanted to have a coat drive and say, I have seen some coat drives where they ask for new coats. So if like someone wanted to have it, would that be possible for them to ask for new coats, or do you?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, we encourage, whatever kind of coat. So we don't just accept new coats because our partners, tell us that they are willing to accept gently worn as well. So we primarily encourage people to collect gently worn because then, that goes to the environmental sustainability aspect of it. Keep those coats that you're not wearing. If they're still in good condition, let's extend the life of that coat and pass it on to someone that needs it. But absolutely, we accept new coats. And a lot of people will, if they see that their PTA is accepting a coat drive, if they don't have a coat to donate back to that, they may go buy a coat and bring them. So that's obviously wonderful. We do accept that as well. And really any type of outerwear, we tell our organizers, It doesn't have to just be coats. It could be scarves and hats and mittens and, sweatshirts. When we have coat drives in, the South in Florida, the coats that they collect might be more like raincoats and a thicker sweatshirt because the climate is so different than like a Minnesota coat drive. So it's very flexible, what our partners are able to accept, but definitely new and gently worn as well.
Okay. And you've been in, how long is it? Is it 32 years?
Yeah, 32 years this
32
year.
years.
We started in San Francisco with one woman who had a coat she just wasn't able to use anymore and she wanted to donate it and couldn't find a place to accept it. So she had started doing coat drives, and it really grew from that one coat drive in San Francisco to, we went national about 12 years after that.
So if they go to your website, will it list the nonprofits that you guys are involved with, that you work with?
So that's the third step of the coat drive program, which will, anyone that registers with us, they're then directed to the map, and they can put in their town name or their zip code, and it lists all of our nonprofits that are near, all of our nonprofit partners that are near them. And the nice thing is, on that listing is the mission of that nonprofit organization, and the coats that they need. So do they only need children's coats, or do they only accept adults or men? So it's a great map because it provides a lot of information, and then people can really go from there and take the coats to them.
And so even if somebody lives like rurally or something, there'll be something for them out there, like
generally speaking, yes. We have a lot of partners. There are certainly areas throughout the country where we have less partners than others, but in that case, we're always looking to add more. So when we have coat drives that happen in an area and maybe there's not a lot of partners nearby, we can then work with organizers to find them a partner nearby and help them. And the same goes, there's areas where we have so many partners and we don't have as many organizers holding coat drives. So then when that happens, we try to encourage more volunteers in that area, excuse me, to hold coat drives because there is such a need and so many nonprofit and partners nearby that are needing coats.
Okay, so what would you say, that, you do look for, like, should this be something that everybody should recommend maybe to their PTA or to their church? Like, if they can't do something, just give your website, hey, how about have a coat drive? Here's one warm coat. They'll help you along, and maybe this is something you should do. Just promote it out. That would be one thing you could do, even if you couldn't hold the coat drive yourself, right?
Yeah.
But if you...
Yeah, and even if you're not connected with an organization that's looking for a project right now, maybe you have coats in your closet that you'd love to donate and you're not able to hold a coat drive. Right. We also have a capability to connect you with active coat drives in the area. So when you're on our website, there's a button at the top that says donate coats, and that takes you to a map of active coat drives in your area. So you know where you can go nearby to just drop off some coats. Yeah. So it's September. There's not as many coat drives on there yet. It's really going to start picking up in the next couple of weeks. We've really hit, October, November, December. That's when our maps are the most active. And we have a number of national retailers that also work with us to accept coats every year. Land's End will start in October. J. Crew will start in the fall as well, later in October. So that's a great opportunity when people are looking to donate a few coats. But there's also a lot of coat drives. So it could be a church coat drive that you're not connected with, but they'll tell you the dates that they're accepting coats and where they're accepting them, and you can just stop by and drop off a few coats.
Okay, so that's great. So really at any level that you want to get involved with it, whether you just have a coat you want to donate, you can find hopefully a place to do that. Or if you want to organize something for an organization that you're involved with, they can get the information on that too. And so lots of ways, from either getting involved a little bit to big, or just promoting the whole idea to organizations and making them known. If anybody has questions that's listening, you can type them in the chat. But yeah, for years, I've been involved with the PTA, and there's coat drives, and so it is something that's needed. We don't ever want to see anybody without warm clothing when it's cold. And
absolutely. Yeah. And to that point, for people experiencing homelessness, they may need several coats in a year. So even though people might do them every year, there's always a need. And last year, One Warm Coat collected about 500,000 coats across the country. But in an end of year survey, nearly 80% of our partners said that they still needed more coats. So there's just such a need for coats, outerwear, and in addition to so many other things. But for the people experiencing poverty, a coat is expensive, and it's a budget extra that if we can take that off of someone, that's a great thing.
Right, and like you said, there are different coats in different parts of the country. So Florida may be more of a zippered sweatshirt or a lighter jacket, a rain jacket or whatnot. So yeah, I mean, to provide, and then you said also you can bring the hats, mittens, and scarves and other things like that they're in need of. What about, do you ever collect like lightly worn boots or anything like that? Like for
we
kids,
don't,
snow boots?
just because we primarily are focused on coats, but I'm sure a lot of our partners do. So that's a nice thing as well, is we're really creating a connection between people in their community and the nonprofits that are in their community, so they might know what their needs are throughout the year. So while we don't necessarily accept them, the nonprofit that you're working with to take the coats to may accept them.
Right, and the same thing with like snow pants, where it's like really, where the kids go outside in school and a lot of them play in the snow. But so that's very interesting. And you've been working with the company for how long?
I've been with One Warm Coat for 9 years. So
9 years.
This is my 10th coat drive season, which is crazy. I can't believe it's been so many years. But every year it's different and it's growing every year. And just to be able to see the coat drives that people put on. Also, I'd recommend people follow us on social media because we share a lot of what people are doing. So that's a great way to get ideas as well, because people are so creative and generous and just do really awesome coat drive events. So that's really fun to watch each year.
Oh, that's good. And they can get to all of your social media through your website, right?
Yes, they can. And we're just at One Warm Coat on all of the sites.
Okay, that's good. And anything else that you think that people should know about the company or holding a coat drive or anything?
I think we've covered a lot of it, but I think just to emphasize what you said, it really works for anyone. So whether it's one person, a group, it's some sort of youth group, a school, a PTO, but also companies, it's a great opportunity for employees that are looking to give back, or a business that's looking to do something in their community and accept coats in the store. It's really a great opportunity for so many different types of groups and people and companies and organizations. So, we encourage people to check us out and get involved, especially, as it's warm now, but it's not going to be for long. So we'd love to get the coats collected before it gets too cold and get them to our neighbors so that people are warm this winter.
Yeah, that makes me think of a question. Okay, so is there do you run this all year long, or do you cut it off at a certain point, or?
We don't cut it off. So really, you can hold a coat drive at any time of year. Most people are doing it October, November, December, January. But, our nonprofit partners also will say to us, we'd love to have the coats in September. So as it's back to school and, there's a lot of different back to school drives, we encourage people to make a coat drive a part of that, because kids, as they're getting ready and getting everything set up to be back at school, will soon need coats to be there as well. So our partners love to get the coats as early as possible so that they're prepared for the winter. But we have people hold coat drives any time of year. A lot of people will do it in the spring for spring cleaning as well. So any time that fits with someone's schedule is fine for us, and they can do it at any time of year.
Right, and it doesn't matter like how small the organization is. What if somebody says, I would like to do it with a scout troop or something, but I don't know how many coats we could collect? Or should they just do it no matter what? Just
Absolutely,
not worry about?
Because really, if you collect one coat, that's a coat someone that didn't have a coat before, So any even small amount really does make a difference. And for Scouts, we actually do offer a Girl Scouts badge with the Northern California Girl Scouts, so that's available on our website. We also have lesson plans on our website to help guide teachers if they'd be looking at it as a school activity. And I shared that preschool does it, but a lot of different grades will do it. And as kids get older, we know that they have certain things that they need to be working on in school. So it's a great opportunity for that. But no donation amount is too small, as far as coats go. Our average coat collection is about 150 for the average coat drive. But we also have some that collect 2 or 3 and some that collect 700. So it really does range on sizes. Yeah,
there's a way for anyone to get involved. And like you said, whether they just want to donate some coats that they have, maybe they're just cleaning out their closets and they've got 4 kids and they've got, 5 or 6 coats, then they can just go there and find one in their area, hopefully,
Yeah.
and donate. And if you can't, maybe that's a reason for you guys to start a
Yeah.
coat drive, right? And help other people while you're helping, everyone clean out their closets. And so, yeah, get use out of things that you no longer have use for, but still have life in them, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because to give a coat a second life reduces the carbon footprint exponentially, because coats take a lot of carbon to produce. So getting to that environment part, I know we're all really focused on that. By giving your coat a second life, it not only helps the environment, but it helps your neighbors. It keeps them out of the landfills. A lot of coats are still in very good shape because you don't wear them as much as other clothing, and can make a big difference in keeping people warm.
Yeah, definitely. Nobody wants to see anybody be without proper
Yeah.
clothing when it's cold, because that's just horrible. And there are a lot of people that are without that. So, thank you for speaking with us, and everybody that's listening. And if you're listening later, because we have a lot of people that listen later on, it's onewarmcoat.org. I put the website in the chat, and I also put it in the video description. And I'll follow you on social media and put that out too. But yeah, that's a really good organization. Now I understand it. I was just like in the beginning, like what? But you do a lot to help and guide people and just be there as a resource, even if they have one or two coats, and can connect them up with something. And maybe when they go to donate that coat and they see how it goes, they'll think about having one for their organization or church, school, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and appreciate you spreading the word, as we start to get into the colder months of the year.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming by. Okay, and
right.
Best of luck, and maybe we'll be working with you and holding a coat drive. I don't know, with one of my kids' organizations. Okay.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thanks so much. You too.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, guys. So I don't know why I can't see my button to end the meeting, but that was good. At first I was a little bit lost. I know we've held coat drives at the PTA, so I was trying to think of how did we do that in the past? Or but no, that makes a good point that they're there to give you that nonprofit that will work with you. So whether it be, something like Catholic Charities, that's a really important part, because you could collect all these coats and maybe you'd say, okay, we're going to give them to need the kids in the school, but there's, say, way more than you do. Then that's really good, and that they have the flyers and things that you can, I'm sure, download and print out. That's another great resource. So yeah, and then the ability just to go and donate your own coats. That could be a starting point for everybody. If everybody did that and checked out a coat drive in their area, that would be great. But thank you. That was a little bit of a different. Usually we've been doing authors, so this was a business, but I think it's really a very needed, business and can help a lot of people. So I hope that it was helpful to you guys. I will see you guys later. Everybody take care. God bless. Prayers. And, put your thoughts in the comments. And I don't know where I end this thing. Jane. Okay. I don't know what happened to my, I'll find it. Hope you're all doing good. Okay, there's a fly in here. Chris Reese said there was a fly by her. I don't know. I think the flies are going crazy because it's getting cold and then it's getting hot, and it's getting cold and hot. Anyway, I'm going to go and hopefully end this live, or I'll just be here for the long term. Okay, there I go. See you later, guys.